She stood at the bus station, a small suitcase clutched in her hand, fighting back the tears that threatened to fall. The city buzzed with life all around her, the hum of cars, the distant sound of laughter, the fresh scent of rain on pavement, but inside her, everything was completely silent. Her name was Aisha, and tonight, she was making the hardest decision of her life. She was leaving behind the love of her life, not because she wanted to, but because circumstances had cornered her, leaving her with no other choice. Just a year ago, her world had been completely different. She had met Arsal at her university. He was the quiet, thoughtful type, the kind of person who noticed the little things others missed, like the way she instinctively tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear when she felt nervous, or the genuine smile that lit up her face whenever she saw children playing on the street. They started as just friends, sharing coffee between classes and taking long, late-night walks, talking for hours about their dreams, their fears, and their plans for the future. But slowly, almost without them realizing it, their friendship blossomed into something much deeper, something undeniable. He fell in love with her kindness, her unwavering honesty, and the quiet strength she carried within her. And she, in turn, fell in love with the way he made her feel completely safe as, if no matter how chaotic and uncertain the world became, he would always be her anchor. They began to talk about marriage, about building a life together once they graduated. Everything seemed perfect, like a beautiful unfolding dream, until the phone call came. One evening, Aisha's mother called her, her voice choked with sobs. Her father had fallen seriously ill with a heart condition, and to make matters worse, the family business was on the verge of collapse. There was no one else to take care of them. Her younger siblings were still too young to help, and her mother was overwhelmed just trying to manage the household. In that single phone call, the immense weight of responsibility shifted and settled squarely on Aisha's shoulders. She knew, with a painful clarity, what she had to do, even as her heart screamed in protest. The next day, she met Arsal. They sat together in the park where they had shared so many happy, carefree moments. Looking at him, her lips trembled as she forced the words out. "I have to go back home. My parents need me." He didn't hesitate for a second. He reached for her hand, his grip firm and reassuring. "Then I'll come with you," he said, his voice full of conviction. But she shook her head, tears finally breaking free and streaming down her face. "You can't, Arsal. You have your own dreams. You've worked so hard for your future. I can't ask you to give all of that up for me." He pleaded with her, tried to convince her to stay, to find another way, any other way, but her mind was made up. This was her duty. She thought to herself that love wasn't always about holding on as tightly as you could. Sometimes, true love meant having the strength to let go with grace. "Please don't hate me for this," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I love you, but I can't turn my back on my parents. They gave up everything for me. Now it's my turn to give something back." That night, she packed her things in a somber silence. Her small room felt heavy with memories, the books they had read together, the framed photo of them laughing, the heartfelt letter he had written for her on her birthday. She tucked that letter close to her heart as she walked out, leaving a piece of herself behind. Years passed. Aisha dedicated herself completely to her family. She took over her father's business, learning the ropes and working tirelessly to bring it back from the brink. She cared for her mother, supported her siblings, and became the pillar of strength her family so desperately needed. Life was far from easy, but she never once complained. Yet, sometimes, on quiet, lonely nights, she would find herself looking out the window, her mind drifting back to Arsal's smile, wondering where life had taken him. Arsal, for his part, tried to move on. But some loves are etched so deeply into your heart that they never truly fade with time. He could still hear her laugh, still remembered her favorite song, and could still picture the way she looked at him, as if he was her entire world. He achieved everything he had once dreamed of: sex, financial stability, recognition in his field, but none of it managed to fill the gaping void she had left behind. One day, many years later, an invitation arrived in the mail for Aisha. It was from an old university friend who was getting married. Her hands trembled as she scanned the elegant script, and then her eyes landed on the names, Arsal Khan and Zara Malik. For a long, suffocating moment, she couldn't breathe. A profound silence filled the room, swallowing every other sound. Then, a faint, sad smile touched her lips, and a single tear slipped down her cheek. "He deserved happiness," she whispered to the empty room. "I truly hope he found it." That night she sat by her father's bedside. He was much older now, frail, but his eyes still held a warm, loving light when he looked at her. "You sacrificed so much for us, my daughter," he said softly, his voice filled with a lifetime of gratitude and regret. "We took your youth, your dreams." She took his hand in hers and smiled through her tears. "You didn't take anything, Baba. You gave me everything: your love, a home, your values. I was just returning the favor." Later that evening, as she stood on her balcony looking up at the vast, star-dusted sky, she thought of Arsal again. She wondered if, somewhere under that very same sky, he was thinking of her too. Their love hadn't ended. It had simply transformed. It was no longer the passionate love between two people, but a quieter, more profound love woven into threads of gratitude, sacrifice, and silent, heartfelt prayers for each other's well-being. Aisha never once regretted her choice, because she understood that some stories aren't meant to have a happily ever after ending. They are about the kind of love that challenges you, changes you, and teaches you the true meaning of strength. And deep in her heart, she knew if he ever heard her story, he would understand. He would know that she didn't stop loving him. She just loved her family more. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.